Hello students, today in this video we'll be solving one sum based on two different treatments. That means here in this question it's a combination of endorsement of bill and discounting of bill. So let us see what the question is. The question is Amar sold goods worth rupees 50,000 to Sundar on credit. So now here you can see there's a credit sale of goods from Amar to Sundar. Then Amar draws a bill on Sundar for the same amount for 5 months. So Amar draws a bill which is accepted by the Sundar and that is for 5 months. So the credit period is 5 months. Sundar accepted the bill and returned it to Amar. Amar endorses the bill in favor of Avinash. Now here there's a twist. The bill was drawn by Amar, then it was accepted by Sundar, then it was given back to Amar after acceptance. But now here what Amar does with that bill? Amar endorses. That means Amar transfers this bill in favor of Avinash. And then what Avinash does is Avinash in turn discounts the bill with his bank. So here drawer is not discounting the bill. Drawer is endorsing the bill. And who is discounting that bill? Avinash. At what percentage with his bank? At 10%. On the due date, the bill is duly honored. That means the bill is paid on the due date. On maturity date, the bill is honored. Draft journal entries in the books of all the parties. Now you must be wondering, all the parties matlab kaun? So we have to record entries in the books of drawer. And who is the drawer over here? Amar. We have to also record entries in the books of drawee. Who is the drawee here? Is Sundar. And also we have to record entries in the books of Avinash. Who is Avinash over here? Avinash is endorsee. Why endorsee? Because endorsee is the person in favor of whom the bill is endorsed. And who is the endorser? Endorser is drawer himself and that is Amar. So यहाँ पे अमर दो रोल प्ले कर रहा है, एक तो ड्रॉवर का एंड एंडोर्सर का. So again, just make this one point clear. Who is the drawer? Amar. क्यों? क्योंकि उसने बिल ड्रॉ किया. Who is the drawee? Sundar. क्यों? क्योंकि उसने बिल एक्सेप्ट किया. Who is the endorsee? Avinash. क्यों? क्योंकि उसको बिल endorse किया गया है. And who has endorsed this bill? Amar. So Amar can be called by two names, drawer as well as endorser. So we are clear with this. Now let us see what journal entries will come in all the parties' books of account. That means in the books of Amar, in the books of Sundar and in the books of Avinash. So to summarize, let us see how the story goes. Credit sale purchase is made. After this, the bill is accepted and then it is endorsed, and after endorsing that bill, the person in whose favor the bill is endorsed has got the bill discounted with his bank. So the story goes like this. Here you can see the combination of two different treatment. One is endorsement of bill and the other one is discounting of bill. But again, it is very easy. Let us see how the journal entries will come. First in the books of drawer. And who is the drawer? Amar. What entry will be passed for? Entry will be passed for credit sale of good and credit sale of goods. The entry will become drawee's account debit to sales account. Who is the drawee? Sundar. So Sundar's account debit to sales account. This entry will be passed in the books of drawer. Why Sundar's account debit? Because debit the receiver, Sundar is receiving goods. And why sales account credit? Because credit all incomes and gains. So drawee's account debit, that is Sundar's account debit to sales account. Now the opposite entry will be recorded in the books of Sundar for credit purchases. The entry will become purchases account debit to drawer's account. Who is the drawer? Amar. So entry becomes purchases account debit to Amar's account. Why purchase account debit? Because debit all expenses and losses. So purchases are expense. And why Amar's account credit? Because credit the giver. Amar is the giver of goods. So you can see one single transaction have different entries in the different books of accounts. After this, Amar got the bill accepted by Sundar. So Sundar is accepting the bill and giving it back to Amar. So Amar is receiving acceptance. So what entry will become in the books of Amar? The entry will be bills receivable account debit to Sundar's account. Why bills receivable account debit? Because debit what comes in, bill comes in. So debit what comes in and then Sundar credit. Why Sundar's account credit? Because credit the giver. Now for the similar transaction, the entry will become different in the books of drawing. The entry will be Amar's account debit to Bill's payable account. Why Amar's account debit? Because debit the receiver, Amar is receiver of that acceptance. And why Bill's payable credit? Because Bill is going out. So here you can see again for the same transaction there are two different entries in the different books. One in the books of drawer the entry was Bill's receivable account debit to Sundar's account, and here in the books of Sundar the entry is Amar's account debit to Bill's payable account. After this, what happens? Amar endorses this bill in favor of Avinash. So now here there will be new entry for endorsement of bill. So in the books of Amar, the entry will be Avinash account debit to Bill's receivable account. Now this is the entry for endorsement of bill. Why Avinash account debit? Because debit the receiver, Avinash is the receiver of that bill. And why Bill's receivable credit? Because bill is going out. So Avinash account debit to Bill's receivable account in the books of Amar. Now, do you think will there be any entry in the books of Sundar, the drawee? No. Why? Because drawee is not at all involved in the transaction. The transaction takes place between Amar and Avinash. So, will there be any entry in the books of Avinash? Yes, of course. Because Avinash is receiving acceptance from Amar. So, now in the books of Avinash, the very first entry will come for receiving acceptance, Bill's receivable account debit to Amar's account. So what entry Amar passed? Amar ने क्या entry pass किया था? Avinash account debit to Bill's payable account. तो Avinash ने क्या किया? Bill's receivable account debit to Amar's account. I hope you have understood this entry. This is endorsee. We are in the books of Avinash and he is endorsee. Now after this, what happens? Avinash goes to bank and he gets his bill discounted, which he has received from Amar. मतलब Amar से जो bill Avinash को मिला, Avinash went to the bank and उसने bill क्या किया? बैंक के पास discount करवाया. So the entry for discounting will be cash bank account debit because Avinash को क्या मिलेगा? Cash bank मिलेगा. Discount account debit because there is a loss and bills receivable credit. Now we will have to find out the amounts. As we know, bills receivable though we already know that is 50,000. Because bill तो 50,000 का ही है, but then what amount of discount we will have to calculate. So let us see the calculation. 50,000 into 10 upon 100 into what was the period of the bill? 5 months. So 5 upon 12. So the amount comes to 2083.33. You can round it off to 2083. So for the bill amount of 50,000, the discount at the rate of 10% for 5 months comes to 2083. So here, to put this into our entry, the bills receivable will be for 50,000. Out of that, bank will deduct a discount of 2083 and bank will remit 47,917 to the Avinash. Now, Avinash has nothing to do with this bill. Why? Because bill goes out. Bill किसके पास चला गया अभी? बैंक के पास चला गया. I hope you are understanding. I hope you are getting me. Again, follow the sequence. सबसे पहले क्या हुआ? Amar sold goods to Sundar. फिर सुंदर ने क्या किया? बिल ड्रॉ करके दिया अमर को. फिर अमर ने क्या किया? बिल को एंडोर्स किया अविनाश को. फिर अविनाश ने क्या किया? बिल को डिस्काउंट किया बैंक के पास. नाउ द बिल इज विद बैंक ऑन ड्यू डेट एंड ऑन ड्यू डेट बैंक गोज टू ड्रॉई and Roy makes the payment. So bank goes to Sundar and on due date Sundar makes the payment. So entry in the books of Sundar will come as bills payable account debit to cash bank. So entry in the books of Roy, that is Sundar, comes as bills payable account debit to cash bank account. Why bills payable debit? Because debit what comes in, bills payable comes in. And why cash bank credit? Because cash bank is going out. Now do you think so for this transaction, for honoring of bill, will there be any entry in the books of Amar? No. Why? Because the transaction on due date takes place between bank and drawee. Will there be any entry in the books of Avinash? No, because the transaction takes place between bank and drawee. So since this bill is discounted, there is no entry in the books of drawer and endorsee. Honor का entry खाली किसके book में आएगा? Drawee के book में आएगा. That's it. Now at the end, what you have to do is you just have to do the totaling of all the journals. Here you have 3 journals in the books of drawer, in the books of drawee and in the books of endorsee. So with this entry we are done with this sum. Hope you have understood the entire sum. Again to summarize, what happens here? Sale, purchase, acceptance, then endorsement, then discounting, then honor of bill. So this is how the entire sum goes. If you have liked this video, you can share it with your friends and you can subscribe to our channel Target Publications. Thank you.